$250,000. Amanda's voice dripped with satisfaction through my phone. Way better than keeping your old junk locked away. You should be thanking me for finally doing something useful with it. I gripped my kitchen counter, my knuckles turning white as the magnitude of what she'd done hit me. My sister-in-law had just sold my entire family heirloom collection. Pieces that had been passed down through 5 generations. Pieces that told the story of my family's journey from Italy to America. My name is Sophia Rossi, and at 35, I just discovered that family isn't always who you think they are. Amanda, my brother Michael's wife of 3 years, had somehow accessed my climate-controlled storage unit while I was away at a conservation conference in Boston. The same storage unit where I kept my family's most precious possessions: antique jewelry, hand-painted porcelain, rare books, and irreplaceable photographs. You had no right, I managed to say, my voice steadier than I felt. Those weren't yours to sell. Amanda's laugh was sharp and dismissive. Oh please, they were just collecting dust. Besides, the money will be much more useful. I'm thinking of buying a new car, something classic, like those stupid vases you use to fawn over. The irony of her words might have been funny if I wasn't fighting back tears. Those stupid vases were hand-painted by my great-grandmother, who brought them from Florence in 1932, wrapped in her wedding dress and carried across an ocean to start a new life. Where did you sell them? I asked, already opening my laptop to check the security footage. Amanda didn't know about the cameras I'd installed last year after a break-in attempt. The storage facility's own security was decent, but I'd wanted extra protection for my family's legacy. Some private collector, she said smugly. He knew the real value of things, unlike you. Paid cash too, smart man. I typed in my security login credentials, my fingers trembling slightly. And how exactly did you get into the storage unit, Amanda? There was a slight pause, the first crack in her confident facade. Michael gave me the key, of course. He is your brother, after all. The collection belongs to the whole family. Another lie. Michael had been traveling in Japan for the past month, completely unreachable due to a meditation retreat. He wouldn't be back for another week, and he'd never given anyone access to my storage unit. He respected what those heirlooms meant to me. The security footage loaded, showing clear images from multiple angles. I started with yesterday's feed, watching as Amanda approached the unit, but she wasn't alone. A tall man in an expensive suit walked beside her, gesturing animatedly. They reached my unit, and I leaned closer to the screen, my blood running cold as I watched Amanda pull out not a key, but what looked like a set of lock picks. You broke in, I said, cutting off whatever excuse she was about to make. I'm watching the footage right now, Amanda. You picked the lock. The silence on the other end was deafening. Then, you're bluffing. There aren't any cameras in that place. I continued watching as they loaded box after box into a sleek black SUV. The man handed Amanda something, probably the cash she'd bragged about. The timestamp showed 3:47 p.m. yesterday. 3:47 p.m., I said quietly. Black SUV, license plate visible. You're wearing your red blazer, the one Michael bought you for Christmas. Want me to continue? You little, she sputtered, her composure finally cracking. Those things were wasted on you anyway. All you did was hide them away like some crazy collector. At least now they'll be appreciated. I thought about the hours I'd spent cataloging each piece, researching their history, documenting the stories behind them. The collection wasn't just valuable in terms of money. It was our family's history, tangible pieces of our past that connected us to our roots. Here's what's going to happen, I said, my voice cold. You're going to tell me exactly who you sold them to, or the police get this footage. Your choice. Amanda's laugh was desperate now. You wouldn't dare. Michael would never forgive you for getting me arrested. Michael would never forgive you for stealing our family's heritage, I countered. But let's ask him, shall we? He lands in Tokyo in about 2 hours. I'm sure he'd love to see this footage. You're bluffing, she said again, but I could hear the uncertainty in her voice. Besides, the sale is done. What's done is done. I smiled, but she couldn't see it. That's where you're wrong, Amanda. So very wrong. You see that man you sold our heirlooms to? He's about to learn some very interesting things about the legality of his purchase. I ended the call and immediately dialed Detective Martinez, my friend from college who now worked in the art crimes division. As the phone rang, I downloaded the security footage to my laptop, making sure to save multiple copies. Amanda had no idea what she just started. Those heirlooms weren't just valuable antiques, they were registered, documented pieces of cultural heritage. The sale wasn't just theft, it was a federal crime. My phone buzzed with a text from Amanda. "You're making a big mistake." I was trying to help the family. I ignored it, focusing instead on composing an email to Michael. My brother needed to know what his wife had done, and he needed to see it with his own eyes. The security footage would tell him everything he needed to know. The heirlooms might be gone for now, but Amanda was about to learn a harsh lesson about family, respect, and the consequences of underestimating the wrong person. I opened my files and began documenting everything, preparing for what would come next. This wasn't over, it was just beginning. Detective Martinez called me back within an hour. "Sophia, I've reviewed the footage. This is serious. We're not just talking about simple theft. The items she sold are registered with multiple cultural heritage databases." I sat in my study, surrounded by photographs of the collection, my own detailed catalog that Amanda hadn't known about. "What's our next step?" "I've already put out alerts to known dealers and auction houses," she explained. "Given the value and historical significance, this buyer won't be able to move these pieces without raising red flags. We've also got clear footage of both your sister-in-law and the buyer. The license plate is registered to a James Harrison." The name hit me like a thunderbolt. "Harrison?" "As in Harrison Fine Arts." "The same. He's known in our department, usually stays just within the law, but he's been suspected of dealing in questionably acquired pieces before. This time, though, he's made a mistake." I pulled up Harrison's website on my laptop. Sure enough, there he was, the same man from the security footage, standing smugly among his collection. My blood boiled seeing him there, knowing he had my family's treasures. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Amanda. "That collector already has plans for the pieces. You can't stop it now. Just take the money and be grateful." Before I could respond, another call came through. "Michael." My heart raced as I answered. "Hey, brother." "Sophia." His voice was tight, controlled. "I just got your email. Please tell me this isn't real. Please tell me Amanda didn't." "I'm looking at the footage right now," I said gently. "I'm so sorry, Michael, but it's all true." There was a long silence, then a deep, shaky breath. "I'm cutting my trip short. I'll be on the next flight home." "Have you called the police?" "Better," I replied. "Detective Martinez from Art Crimes is handling it." "Michael, there's something else you should know. The buyer is James Harrison." "The dealer?" Michael's voice sharpened. "Sophia, that man's reputation is terrible. If he's involved—" "I know, but we've got him on camera, paying cash for stolen goods. He can't wiggle out of this one." Just then, my email pinged. A message from an unknown address, but the subject line made my heart stop. "Regarding your family collection. Urgent." I opened it, putting Michael on speaker as I read. "Dear Ms. Rossi, I recently acquired some items that I believe might be of interest to you. While I purchased them in good faith, certain irregularities have come to my attention. Perhaps we could meet to discuss a mutually beneficial resolution. GH." "He's scared," Michael observed. The alerts must have worked. Before I could reply, another email arrived, this one from Detective Martinez, marked urgent. "Sophia, Harrison just tried to contact 3 different international buyers about recent acquisitions. All 3 have declined, citing our alerts. He's trapped and he knows it. Don't respond to any communication from him. Let him sweat." I smiled grimly. The net was closing in, but I knew Harrison wasn't our biggest problem. As if reading my thoughts, Michael spoke again. "What about Amanda? Have you heard from her since?" "Just text trying to justify what she did. She doesn't know about Harrison's reputation or the legal implications yet." My doorbell rang, making me jump. Through the security camera, I saw Amanda standing there, looking considerably less confident than she had during our phone call. "She's here," I told Michael. "Want me to call you back?" "No," he said firmly. "Keep me on speaker. I want to hear this." I opened the door to find Amanda clutching her designer purse like a shield. Her makeup couldn't quite hide how pale she was. "We need to talk," she said, trying to sound authoritative but failing. "That buyer, Harrison, he's been calling me nonstop. Something about documentation and provenance." "Come in," I said coldly, stepping aside. Michael's on the phone. I'm sure he'd love to hear your explanation. She faltered, clearly not expecting this. Michael? But, you're in Japan. Not anymore. His voice came through the speaker, hard as steel. Start talking, Amanda, and don't even think about lying. She sank onto my couch, her bravado crumbling. I thought. The money was just sitting there in those old things, and we could use it for. For what? I interrupted. A new car. Some shopping sprees. Was that worth destroying our family's heritage? You don't understand, she protested weakly. Harrison said he'd pay cash, no questions asked. He said these kinds of private sales happen all the time. And now he's panicking because he can't sell them. I finished for her. Because every piece you stole is registered and documented. Every reputable dealer and auction house has been alerted. You didn't just commit theft, Amanda. You committed a federal crime. The color drained from her face. What? What do you mean? Michael's voice cut through the room. It means you're in serious trouble. Both you and Harrison. Where's the money, Amanda? She clutched her purse tighter. I'd already spent some of it. On deposits for what? Michael's voice was deadly quiet. For a yacht rental, she whispered. And a villa in Greece. The silence that followed was deafening. I looked at this woman, my sister-in-law, who had so casually destroyed something precious and irreplaceable for her own selfish desires. Detective Martinez will be here soon, I said finally. I suggest you tell her everything. Where Harrison took the pieces, any conversations you had with him, all of it. It might help reduce the charges. Charges? Amanda's voice rose in panic. You can't be serious. We're family. Family? Michael's voice cracked with emotion. Family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't destroy generations of heritage for a yacht rental. You stopped being family the moment you broke into that storage unit. Amanda started to cry, but I felt no sympathy. My phone buzzed with a text from Detective Martinez. Harrison's trying to leave the country. We've got eyes on him. Don't worry, those pieces aren't going anywhere. I showed the message to Amanda, watching as the last of her composure crumbled. The money, she said desperately. I can give back what's left. It was never about the money, I said quietly. But you never understood that, did you? The sound of police sirens in the distance made Amanda jump. Michael was silent on the phone, but I could hear his deep, controlled breathing. The nightmare wasn't over, but at least now we could see the path to making it right. As the sirens grew closer, I looked at the family photographs on my wall, 5 generations of history that Amanda had tried to erase with one greedy decision. She was about to learn that some things are worth more than money, and some betrayals can never be undone. The next few weeks passed in a blur of legal meetings and police interviews. Harrison, faced with overwhelming evidence, cracked first. He revealed the location of every piece from my collection, stored in a climate-controlled warehouse outside the city. He'd been planning to ship them overseas through various shell companies, but our quick action had frozen his entire operation. We've recovered everything, Detective Martinez told me as we stood in the warehouse, surrounded by carefully packed crates. Harrison's cooperating fully. He's more worried about his reputation than facing charges. He's offering to handle all costs for proper restoration and return shipping. I ran my hand over a familiar crate, knowing my great-grandmother's vases were inside. And Amanda. She's accepted a plea deal. The prosecutor took into account that she returned most of the money and provided evidence against Harrison. She's looking at probation, community service, and mandatory financial counseling. Michael hadn't spoken to Amanda since that day in my living room. He'd filed for divorce immediately upon returning from Japan, citing her criminal actions as grounds. The last I heard, she'd moved back in with her parents, her dreams of yachts and villas replaced by the harsh reality of legal fees and a ruined reputation. The collection's cultural significance actually helped us, Martinez continued. The federal charges scared Harrison straight. He's provided a full confession and documentation of similar deals he's made. The Art Crimes Unit is having a field day. 2 days later, I stood in my storage unit, now equipped with a state-of-the-art security system. Harrison's involuntary contribution to making things right. Each piece was returned to its proper place, each family treasure back where it belonged. Michael helped me catalog everything, our hands gentle as we unpacked generations of memories. You know what Mom used to say about these? He asked, carefully unwrapping one of the vases. She said they weren't just containers for flowers, they were vessels for stories. Each chip and crack was a chapter in our family's journey. I nodded, remembering our mother's voice as she taught us about our heritage. She would have been proud of how we handled this, I said softly. We protected what matters. The final piece we unpacked was a small, leather-bound diary that had belonged to our great-grandmother. Inside, written in fading Italian script, was the story of how she carried these treasures across an ocean, believing in a future she couldn't yet see. Amanda never understood, Michael said, his voice heavy with emotion. She saw dollar signs where we saw stories, market value where we saw memories. A month after everything was returned, I hosted a small gathering at my home. Family members from across the country came to see the collection, now displayed more securely but still as beautifully as ever. I'd hired an expert to help properly document each piece's history and significance, ensuring that future generations would understand their value beyond any price tag. Detective Martinez attended too, admiring the pieces she'd helped recover. You know, she said, sipping her wine, in all my years working art crimes, I've never seen someone so prepared. Those security cameras, the documentation, you made our job much easier. I smiled, thinking of all the precautions I'd taken that had seemed almost paranoid at the time. Sometimes the best defense is being ready for the worst. Later that evening, as the guests left and Michael helped me clean up, we found an envelope that had been slipped under my door. Inside was a letter from Amanda. I'm sorry, I know those words aren't enough, but they're all I have. I didn't understand what I was destroying. Maybe I never will. The money's all been returned, not that it matters now. Some things, once broken, can't be fixed with cash. Michael read it once and then set it aside without comment. Some betrayals leave scars that no apology can heal. Standing in my study that night, surrounded by the treasures that had almost been lost, I felt a deep sense of peace. These pieces weren't just antiques or investments. They were our anchor to the past, our bridge to the future. Amanda's greed had threatened that legacy, but in protecting it, we'd grown stronger. The collection stands as a reminder now, not just of our family's journey, but of the importance of standing firm when what matters most is threatened. Some things are worth more than money, and some legacies are beyond price. 5 generations of stories, safely preserved for the next chapter to begin.